Today I'm going to talk about time in Plato's philosophy, how time is absolutely crucial to the structural and logical integrity of Platonic philosophy. And time is really important to Plato because it bridges between the two worlds that Plato basically maps out, which is fundamentally his cosmology, his whole world view. And time has a really important bridging role there. And it has a bridging role for a few reasons that I'm going to dive into. So, firstly, time is the manifestation of our world's imperfection. As far as Plato is concerned, there's an eternal, true world that is unchanging, that is immaterial, that does not change in time. There's absolutely, it's an absolute world. It's an unchanging world of ideas, what Plato called ideas or forms, capital I, capital F. And basically, in this world, the forms of colors like red or shapes or things are all perfect. And in Plato's mythology, in his creation myth, there's a god called the demiurge that basically sees chaos and creates order from that chaos. And what the demiurge does is he looks at that perfect, eternal, unchanging world, and he creates our living world from that. He creates our world. But as we all know, copies are never quite as good as the original thing. They're a counterfeit by nature. So in our counterfeit world, we have imperfections, and the manifestation of that imperfection is time. Our world changes. Unlike the eternal world that it's copied from, our world actually changes. I'm changing now. I'm moving in space, and I'm actually getting older as I'm recording this video, and that's all because I exist in the material world of where things change. Now, the reason that time is also important is because it gives us a sense of that immaterial world that we otherwise would not be able to reach, right? So let me give you an example. This is just a standard mantelpiece clock. The clock is changing in time. It's a mechanism for measuring time by consistently changing in a consistent fashion. We're able to measure time with this clock. But this clock also bears all these symbols on its face, and all these symbols are numbers, right? And numbers are, as far as Plato's concerned, derived from that unchanging, perfect world. They're very much part of that unchanging, eternal world of forms. And the reason for this is because in arithmetic, we have these timeless laws. So, as far as Plato is concerned, 2 plus 2 equals 4, not just, in the past or in the present. 2 plus 2 always equals 4. 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4 now, or 2 plus 2 equals 4 not in the future, but it always is the case that 2 plus 2 equals 4. So numbers are therefore part of that world. And in Plato's dialogue Timaeus, which deals with Plato's whole cosmology and creation myth, he talks about the celestial spheres actually measuring out time for us, and that we can gaze upon them and we can understand these eternal laws that actually govern our universe, that derive from the perfect world from which the demiurge was working. Now, the demiurge can just be that. It can just be a myth. It could be a metaphor just for the way that the world is changing. A lot of Platonists that came after Plato treated it as such. So in the same way that Christians often think of Genesis as like a founding myth that is nevertheless a myth, the God didn't create the world in 7 days. Neoplatonists like Plotinus actually took Plato's mythology to be just that, just a kind of an easy way for people to understand how the universe was created. And Plotinus goes even further, and thinks of the world as being eternally created. So the material world that we exist in has always existed and always will exist, and it's emanating from the world of forms from the world of ideas at every single moment, because there's that timeless aspect to our world as well. It's really interesting, it's really rich. I hope these ideas were useful and interesting. Thank you.